back with People's Talk with Dr. Obedike Kamau. And Doc, right at the break, we were talking about the energy of the 60s. You kind of look across the world now, there seems to be a spirit of revolution. You look at what happened in North East Africa, what's happening in Yemen. How do you look at that as opposed to what America is built? Would you say America is building up to a revolution?
You know, Todd, it's so interesting because when you start talking to the people in the street who are actually participating, particularly in Egypt, our people, our elders and ancestors are the model, the paradigm they're using. They are, based largely on the civil rights movement, largely on the demonstrations based on nonviolence, and of course we utilize the model from Gandhi, but it's being passed on. And one of the things that's ironic to me is that people all over the world appear to be able to see what's happening to them and understand it, even if they weren't doing anything about it. They knew they were getting jobs, so to speak. And so finally, at some point, they're able to collectively create enough energy, create enough persistence, create enough determination to say, okay, even though I may die, even though, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to face this monster that's causing me and my family and my people and this whole, depending on where I live, so much discomfort. Things have gotten to the point that I'm ready to go do this, and then you see, tens, hundreds, and thousands of people with you, and it encourages you, and it lifts your spirit, and it gives you a feeling of what you're capable of. I think on some level it connects people consciously to the divine, and so. But what's interesting to me is that people in other parts of the world are apparently on the front line of this struggle, for ultimately justice, equality, self-determination, simple things that we talk about in America that we supposedly stand for, we're supposed to be a beacon of. And it's really kind of questionable if those hard-won, hard-fought goals and objectives and ways of life in this country are currently in effect. What's clear is that those freedom, justice, equality, the chance, the opportunity, the education, you can move up from here to there if you just work hard and all of that stuff is under attack by people that we send, by politicians, certainly by, business people. The only way that we control we have on them is through organizing. But my thing has always been, as far as politics and political science, is that generally politicians, and black people politicians used to really have this. They came to us for votes, but they went to white people and quote-unquote upper-class people for money. The question is, are you loyal to your voters, or are you loyal to the people who finance your campaign? At one time, 15 or 20 years ago, it might have been questionable as to who a politician was loyal to. But now I think, 65, 70, maybe a higher percent, it's clear. They are loyal to the people who are paying for their campaign. So they're not loyal to the voters. And another thing, and I really, people always tell me to be careful, is that one of the biggest tricks in American cultural history, politics, sociology, economics, etc., is race. And this trick has allowed people who, other than looking a little differently from each other, that's primarily the biggest difference. They are basically in the same kind of political and economic situation. Getting their butts kicked by the system, and feeling vulnerable and unable to protect themselves or to do anything about it. But in this country, race has always been kind of used as a way to prop up poor whites and make them feel that if they're better. And so what I look at, and the thing that's amazing to me, is with these latest, you know, radical, quote-unquote, politicians that people are sending to the D.C. and sending to the state houses, is that these boys, I mean, man, you know, black people, we, in many cases, are not political, but if we listen to one of these dudes for 3 minutes on the news, the black folks say, hell, you know, if you gonna vote, I ain't voting for none of them.
Sarah Palin.
Yeah, right. You know, it's just like, you know, that these people don't mean you no good. Now, in the same situation, and what I don't understand is why a poor, broke, white person who's looking at that same person, this person is worth 2, 3, 4, 5, and depending on how long they've been in Congress or wherever, maybe in the tens of millions of dollars. You don't have nothing in common with him. You don't know where he lives. You can't get to him. And he's talking about doing stuff not for people who necessarily look like him. He runs the game on y'all, but for the people in the same circle he is. And so to me, the question is, my daughter, who's grown, when she was a little girl, 4 or 5 years old, my dad used to try to tell her stuff because he loved her to say, she would look at it and she'd say, Granddaddy, I don't go for the overdose. There's too many Americans, in particular, I think, white Americans, that go for the overdose.
But when we come back, we're going to deal with the class system. We're going to take a break here with People's Talk.